All right, so this is something that I was looking at the other day that I was a little bit interested, curious, in coming back to, is using a price series provider and then loading up. What I ended up doing was loading up 30 days of bars, 60-minute bars. We have whatever symbol that we're using and load to true, and we have the session as a regular stock session, which if you see define sessions for regular stock session, it will be this guy here, which is just from 9:30 to 4 o'clock p.m. So with that being said, when I run this script with a clear print log at the beginning, we get this price series provider with X number of items, and you see, like for the date of 11/6, that the first bar starts or ends at 10:30. So it essentially spans that 9:30 to 10:30. That's that 60-minute bar. Then 10:30 to 11:30, 11:30 to 12:30, to 1:30, 2:30, 3:30. And then the session ends at 4. So it apparently does go ahead and cut off and give you that last bar at 4 o'clock. So it seemed like I was looking at it yesterday and it gave me different output. It went all the way up to like 5 or 6 o'clock. So that's why I said it didn't make sense. And I ran it through my head today and it just kind of didn't make sense. So I wanted to come back and see exactly what it looked like. But I think we've got it now. All right, good. So that's just something I wanted to clear up. All right, so something else that you can do with the price series provider is you can come in here and you can filter just these times. So we'll say if we only want, we're pulling up all the bars, all the 30 bars of the last 30 days. But if we only want bars from 11/24, say, then we could say, how would we do that? How would we do that? I know that you can do a parse, which I haven't done much with parse, but let's see how that might look. So if we had something like an input, and the input was date, well, we could certainly do date something like 1/25, November 24th. Okay, and then we could say if date is equal to PSP dot time of IDX of A. Even though it says time, it still references the date as well. So the time dot, you see EL date there, dot to string, should be able to do that. Well, then this would technically need to be a string too, because this date here, I don't think that comes out as a numeric. I think it comes out as a string. EL date, yeah, it does come out as a numeric. So EL date, so we'll leave that as a numeric instead of kind of casting that as a string or formatting it as a string. So if the date is equal to that EL date, then we're going to print. So now when we re-verify it, of course, we cleared the print log when we first got started. We don't want to do this backup right now. Okay, and so then again, when we clear the print log, now we get this 11/24 here. If we go back to the chart, FAT, and then we double click that, instead of 11/24, we're going to change that to 11/25. Okay, and now you see when we get the print log, it pulls up all the data from 11/25, that date. I do want to try, let's see, what does the parse look like? If we do a date time parse, if you leave it as date time, we might have to do a date time object altogether using EL system. And then again, so like today I'm just kind of playing around. There are a ton of different things that you can do with Easylanguage. There's a ton of different things you can do with the object-oriented Easylanguage. There's different reserved words, functions. You can create your custom functions. You can do a ton of stuff. So if I was to come on here and say, hey, man, I've been programming with this stuff for the last 3 years and I know it all, I'd be lying, right? I don't know it all, but I know that there's a lot of possibilities, and you're only limited by your ability, or you're only limited by your imagination, right? So if you say that there is a finite amount of something, then there is a finite amount of something. But if you say that there's 100 ways to work a maze, then there might be 100, there might be 1,000, depending on how you look at it. If you're looking at it 1D, 3D, 2D, but people's imaginations are very gray, very gray. Okay. Sorry, that's why I said my coffee. All right, so date time variable, we'll do it in the module space. DT, date time, we call it DT null. Come down here in the once block and say not only once for this, but we'll end that. Begin that, and we'll say DT equals new, or date time. Can you create the date time? Create it with, let's just create it and then see, is there some type of parse or something in there that we can use for inputting informations? There's a methods. Parse converts the date and time string parameter to a date time equivalent. Well, what does that string need to look like in order for it to work out? That's the question. So to a date time equivalent. All right, well, I would think we'd have to do something like, we'd have to change this date time to, let's try a DT string. IDT string, and then we're going to try it for 11. We'll do 26, 2025, and then 0900. Let's see if we can do that. And this needs to be a string. Okay, so, and also in this once block, I'm going to say DT dot all right, so DT equals datetime dot try parse string attempts to convert the converted specified date and time string to a date time, returning true if the conversion was successful. So first we'll try it, and then if it does work, it's true, then we'll convert it. Okay, so we need to make this maybe condition 1 equals datetime parse. We'll start off just by making sure that condition 1 is equal to false, and then datetime try parse, we'll put the IDT string there, and then I think we had the date, we put the date time here, and condition 1 would be true if it did convert properly. So then if condition 1 equals true, or we could just say if condition 1, then print, we're going to print the datetime dot to string. We're going to print whatever it converted it to. So right now we just essentially created the datetime object. but it hasn't really been instantiated. It's been, I guess it's been instantiated, so there's an instance, but it really hasn't been initialized to any specific values. So here's the value that we want to initialize it to, but we've got to get it out of this string. We've got to get it from a string to a date time object. And we're using the try parse to do that. There's the string there, and we want to send it to that date time object. And if it works, then this will be true. So if condition 1 is true, then we'll print the date time back to a string. All right, verify that. And okay, I need to not print this for the time being. Oh, wow. Okay, so it worked, right? So here's 11:26:25, 9 a.m. That's what we were looking for there. Very cool. So if we change this to, all right, that's an input. So now we're going to change the input, FAT, change the input to, let's change it to 1500, which would be 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, and then it changes to 300, 3 p.m. Very nice, very nice. Okay, so that's how you work your date time try parse. All right. So that being said, let's take this input of this date time, this string, and then try to use it as a filter against our price series provider. So if I date time, so now we just want to use, after we convert this string as a date time from the date time object to this date time object initialize, then we want to compare this date time date, right? So the dt.el date to the price series provider el date. Hit verify. Okay, and we actually don't even come up here yet. So if we're on the last bar on the chart and the data state is loaded, then we're going to print. And there you go. Okay, so now you see our iDate up here. Let's go back to here. The iDate is the 25th. iDate is the 25th, but the string, let's change it to the 27th. Okay, so you'll see that this will be referencing the 27th, not the 25th. Well, it didn't do anything. So maybe there's nothing for the 27th. Maybe the 27th was a Friday. Excuse me, a Saturday. So let's change it to, if that was a Saturday, then we'll change it to the 28th, 29th. Nope. Did it leave us? All right. How come we're not getting anything for the 29th here? Of November 27th. 27th should have worked. Oh, Thanksgiving? Maybe it was closed the 27th, 28th, 29th. Or I assumed because there was nothing for the 27th, that the 27th was a Saturday, so I skipped the 28th, which would have been a Sunday, and then I went to the 29th, which I thought would have been a Monday. So I believe the market was open on the 28th. So let's go back and change this to the 28th. That Friday. And I mean, I don't remember, honestly, but it looks like it was. So the 28th. Very good. Very cool. All right. There's your try parse. All right, again, try catch. Try. Try, you would have the expression, and then try, yes, the expression as a statement, catch the exception, perform the action. Try the expression, catch the exception, perform the action, and you could do the finally, but always ends with end. Okay. Again, some of these things that you don't use all the time is not a bad idea to review them. Okay. All right. Anything else I wanted to do today? Just kind of while I'm here, keeping it loose. I don't think so. All right, let me open up my other. All right, and so one of the things I realized today is for the algos that I'm trading live here is that the price series provider apparently doesn't even, the way I have it set up, it doesn't even load. It doesn't start loading until 9:30, right? So I have it set up to only, you know what? I think I did that. I think that, so the price series provider is supposed to be giving me the information for today. But I believe I have the price series provider to only give me information for after 9:30. After 9:30 starts. So this is my algo here. This is one of my algos. So all right. Let's go to outline, no, the resource view. 72 should be dependencies here. Somewhere is the dependencies. PSP. These are all the inputs. But just looking for the dependencies. Or maybe that only shows up for the project view. All right, so, but for the PSP, we're going initial setup. Time check. Here we're loading, looking for the loaded PSPs. So we'll go into open the function of algo liquid. And I know I could probably clean up some of these functions, and I will at some point, but not today. I mean, I can clean it up a little bit. All right, let's see. Yeah. Okay, so I am looking for the time to be over 9:30. Okay, that makes some sense. But still. Let's see, I want to take this information here and take a look and see how that compares to. Uh-oh, what'd I do? Dun, 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 dun. All right, so we're gonna have a new PSP, and we're gonna make it like the one that we just saw, because again, that's the one I'm using to trade my live algos with, and I need it to be. I need to understand clearly what it's doing when it's acting a little buggy. This is BS PSP. We'll do times. Okay, so we'll have that once begin. And we name that PSP, so that's got to be a, what is this? Using TS data, market data, and then variable price series provider, PSP, no, verify that. So all we're doing is instantiating and initializing the PSP. All right, so then what we want to do is we want to see, since we did that once, we want to see what are the values in here. So we'll ask for what is the count. For the last one on the chart, then once begin in print PSP. PSP.count .toString. All right, let's add this PSP. All right, so .iat PSP. What did you do here? Not found. 1019. All right, let's try it again. Certain analysis technique PSP underscore times. All right, there we go. All right, so count of 1472. That's how many, based on what we have here, the way this price series provider is set up, there's 1472 counts in this price series provider. But what I'm more interested in is, like I said, for the last week or two, when I've been running my algos, I've been seeing that the price series provider doesn't load when I first start the day moving forward. And then so today I paid attention to what was happening right around 9:30 or so. So I restarted my algos, and it was saying that the price series provider was loading up. I don't know if I have it on here. It was saying, you see here, it was saying that because I kind of have a check to go, going forward. And it was saying that the price series provider, the count was very low, like 6 or 7. So again, right at 9:30, it was pretty much just saying that we were just getting started with the price series provider counts, even though my program, the chart had been running all morning, right? So, and we were, a little bit past 9:30. So apparently the price series provider is only capturing 9:30 moving forward. But since this is the initialization and the parameterized. Anyway, since this is how we set up the price series provider, we want to see what are the first elements of this price series provider. So we're just going to take this and we're going to go back through the loop, and then we're going to print them out. So print X, come up here, make a method void X print X. Let's have a looping variable. Begin in for IDX of A is equal to 0 to PSP.count -1. Begin, and we're gonna print the PSP.time of IDX of A dot to string. and we get this. So now we're going to see how far. Okay, so we see how far back it goes, right? It starts at 9:30. Bingo. So we see our problem. This is the answer, and this is the problem. But why does the PSP start at 9:30? I'm actually a little confused, because the way I have this set up. Oh, got it. Got it. It's probably set up on whatever default. Yep. That's it. Okay. All right. Got it. All right. So what it is, and is essentially what I was showing you earlier on this BS PSP, when we set up the parameters here for the price series provider, and we set the session name as regular stock session. Well, if you don't set the session for your price series provider, then it's going to default to something, right? So it's going to default to whatever, and I think it defaults to whatever the chart default is, and or the symbol type default is, which for stocks would essentially be your 9:30 to 4. So, and I need to verify that. So maybe it wouldn't default to the regular session, because the regular session apparently starts at 9 a.m. and goes to 4. So a little bit of pre-market activity, but it doesn't start at 9:30. You see here we start at 9:30 when we did not specify the session name. So again, the default would be is somehow defaulting to 9:30, and that might be, well, all these are custom. The regular session is this 9 o'clock, looks like to me. All right, yeah. So I need to get clarification on that. But like I said, that's important to know, because now I know that for my indicators, for my algo, I know that all I need to do is go and where's that here? So for my algo, all I need to do is change this price series provider to a session type that is either has more pre-market or is 24-hour, right? And if I do it 24-hour, then that'll be fine. So on this one here, what we did with the PSP, and we did not set a session name. We didn't set a session name anywhere. If we go back and we set a session that has more pre-market activity, then we should see this stretch further than just 9:30. So let's take a look here. Go to session, other sessions, or let's do 24-hour. 24-hour. All right, let's see. Can we do session name PSP dot session name equals 24? I think it's that space in there. All right, so 24-hour, and now when we went 24-hour, all right. So the last one that we had, when we ran it just prior, we had 12:12, which is today. It should be starting at 9:30, which is fine. So now with our 24-hour on here, now we are running 12:12, and the earliest that we go is 4:04 a.m. Okay, good deal, good deal. And that might just be a function of TradeStation, the platform, because I know there's pre-market activity, but it doesn't, even though it might be 24 hours for the session, trading doesn't happen 24 hours, at least not that I understand, for that we can see, right? So I think some trades can go on the books during those other times, but the trades don't happen until 4 o'clock, something like that. All right, so again, that's going to be one of the solutions to one of my problems. All right, so tonight we figured out the adding the session name just for clarity for your price series provider. We talked about using the parse function of date time to convert a string to a actual date time object, and then being able to use that date time object using the components of the date time object to compare against your price series provider to then use that as a condition for any specific thing that you want to do. And yeah, that's it. That's it. So, but that's enough. All right. So, I will make a couple of notes for myself, lessons learned, and we'll move on. All right. If anybody has any questions, ask them now or forever hold your peace. This is you time. If you have any questions, I'll try my best to answer them. If I can't answer them tonight, then it'll give me something to work on for next session. So I'll give you a couple minutes to get into the chat, and then I'll be out of here. Coffee at 10:30 at night. I don't know if that's a true thing. Programmers, developers need coffee just to program and whatnot. I don't know if that's a true thing. But I certainly like my coffee. All right, is there anything else I can work on? Well, not really. I mean, I know one other thing I could look at that I was interested in working on. I might work on that for a few minutes. Is my sectors. I wanted to, because right now the way I have these sectors set up is that the green are the positives and the red are the negatives, but I want to put them into an array or something and kind of sort them by quartiles as well. So, close of day ago. Let's see what we have for the settings. We are loading additional bars so we can get enough bars back to reference the prior day, so we can compare the prior day's close to the current close, so we can get the how the sectors moved. Ooh, XLK. What is K? K is healthcare, isn't it? Tech? No, K is tech. V is healthcare. Yeah, K is tech. Tech was down that much today. So what did the Qs look like? Oh yeah, okay. All right, and then so, yep, and that's exactly what K looks like. XLK, XLV. All right, XLP, what is that? Consumer, discretionary, staples, building materials, finances. Finances is down. All right, again, folks, I'm just kind of looking at some stuff here that I plan on putting together for my chart for next week, but I pretty much accomplished what I plan to do with the price series provider today. And if you have any questions, just put them in the chat and I'll try to answer the questions if I can. But if not, I'm just kind of tooling around here. All right, so XLP. So we're going to add global dictionary, dictionary sectors change, these sector change. Dum. All right, I don't need to do anything special with this anymore. J symbol. All right, so we have a global dictionary for GD sectors. Okay, that's good. And then sector changes new dictionary. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is the global dictionary that I have for GD sectors, I'll just open up a new, either a new function or a new indicator and work on sorting those. Plot. Change plus minus. Yep, that's red or that's green. And slow value. Check symbol. See close of day. See set change. Sector change over the symbol. D sector change. D sector change. I'm looking for it. One of the cool things I did find, and I'm always okay, there we go. All right, so dictionary. Okay, so one of the cool things I did find out the other day is that and I hadn't been able to get it to work every single time, but if you double click on a word, then if you hit Control F for find, it'll automatically put that word in your find box, right? So if I'm on something larger, a larger program like this algo here, if I go to something like this one, module level close P&L, double click on that, then hit Control F, it puts it automatically into that box. So you don't have to do a double click, copy, Control F, paste. You don't have to do any of that. Just double click here and then hit Control F and then it's already in there. Oddly enough, this is crazy. mclose P&L, I don't even have it in this program, which that's a waste. But it might be because this is kind of a shell. So this same program, I'll have it for all my other algos, and so then all I have to do is drop my algo condition criteria into, kind of copy and paste into the region strategy here, and so it just makes it easy. So then I only have to just drop the criteria of my strategy right in there. Okay, but so some of those variables won't necessarily be used, but most of them should be. So that's interesting. All right, so double click on that, Control F, and you see there we have module level risk per position shows up a couple times. All right, but I do want to figure out how I want to do this sector change. So I'm storing loading the value. Load value, sector change, Z sector change will be the value stored to the key of D sector change, and then we're storing D sector change to the global dictionary under D sectors change. So then what I can do is I can take these sectors, and it'll only be one, that'll be a whole dictionary Okay, all right, so let me try this. So we're gonna sectors change sectors. We're gonna make one called D sectors percentile maybe. All right. And this actually needs to be, yeah, that's fine. Okay. Because this is one of the things I want to do. Like I said, coming to the next week is not only am I going to continue to use my the ranking of the volume to shares outstanding. You see how these are ranked in percentile, and I'm probably only going to be taking trades on the higher third and fourth percentiles, but I also want to only take the trades in the, or at least go long in the sectors that are stronger, right? So we have multiple levels of confluence there for, or confirmation for the direction. All right. So let's see, sector percentile change. We're going to get rid of these that we're working on tonight. And then we want to make sure that we, dictionary sector change, we're going to grab these two. And we'll grab the instantiation of them. The global dictionary is the main one that we're looking for here. The regular dictionary is not as necessary. I mean, sure. So we'll say once we created this and we've tapped into the global dictionary there, then we'll say that the we'll do X check global dictionary, global D. I have a method. Void X check global D. And then we'll say if GD sectors dot contain, oh, it still hadn't shown up. We need to add our namespace using eosystem.collections. Now we can go GD sectors dot contains, and it was this dictionary of the sector change was saved as dictionary sector change, and you got to do it the same. It's got to be case sensitive. Then if it does have that, then we're going to make this dictionary here D sector change. D sector, oh, come on now. D sector change is going to be equal to GD sectors of that as type dictionary. Okay. And all right, so if we do have the dictionary fulfilled, then we could do, trying to think, do I want to, okay, so we need to have some type of, if this global dictionary changes, then we need to rerun this so that we can, or it needs to update these values. But either way, we need to update these sector values. Okay, so we need to have some type of item add to item added plus equals GD item added, GD item added, void GD D sector, wait a minute, okay, GD item added, and then the parameters for that, or the arguments for that, will be go and grab that from the dictionary. I used to think it was cheating if you go to the dictionary like this, but there's just, I'm gonna say there's no other way to do it, but I mean, who's gonna remember that? I mean, you could, and maybe I should, just for the heck of it. All right, but if there's an item added, then we know that the global dictionary exists. I wonder, should we, you know what? Not item added, item changed. And we're specifically looking for that one that's changed. It might be the same set of parameters. Okay, so if args dot, I guess is the key. So for your dictionary, you have a key and you have a value. Okay, key is on the left side, value is on the right side. Okay, so if you have an item change, GD item change, if you have an item change, then you want to be checking to see if the key was the one that was changed, and then you can check the value. Okay, so if the key is, and this is the key that we're looking for, if that was changed, then we're going to go ahead and grab that and redefine the sector. So we're just going to copy the dictionary over. Okay, so D sector is equal to, and then we can check the percentile. So this needs to X check percent. And then also this, after we do it, X check percent. Visual Basic, no, this is Easylanguage. This is Easylanguage with TradeStation. It's their proprietary programming language for TradeStation. So it's unlike anything else. Apparently they say that it's supposed to be trader friendly. And I don't know, this is the first programming language that I really kind of sat down and worked with. So as I've looked at Python and some other languages, I see that some of those are probably easier than this, but I do see a lot of reserved words. I see some functions that have already been established by TradeStation that maybe makes programming with this for traders a bit easier, but only if you know they're there. And that's why I'm doing part of this series of the 50 functions in 5 minutes, because there's a lot of functions that are there that can assist you, but you have to know they're there. All right, so let's see, X check percent. All right, so now when we X check the percent, and hopefully we haven't gotten into any errors as we've been on our way to X check percent. If we have, then we got a long ways to go back. All right, so what we're going to do now is we have this dictionary of the sector change. It's a dictionary, should be of these values now. So what we want to do is maybe we could do an array. Well, if we know we have a finite number, which I plan to keep this same, just like when I make this sector change, I have a symbol list of these sectors, and Microsoft shouldn't be on there. That was for testing purposes. But I have this symbol list, so there should only be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 items in this dictionary. Okay, shouldn't be any more, shouldn't be any less. So I could just make an array with 11 and then just run the rank percent from there, and I think that's what I'm gonna do. One thing that you can't do is you can't add an array. An array can't be local to a method. Okay, so the array has to be outside the method, so it'll have to be here, array, and then we'll call it a percent, and it'll have I think we got to do this as 12. No, 11. The max index number will be 11, but this essentially gives it 12 spaces, right? You remember that, right? Because it's 0 base, so that gives it actually 12 spaces. But when you're using the calculations from TradeStation, it won't use the 0 index, so it will only use the 1, 2, 3 through 10. So and we need 11, so we'll move on from there. All right, so we're going to take those variables IDX of A, and then we're going to say for, I can't think of a better way to do this right now, so we'll just have to do it this way. We're just going to loop through the dictionary and then save it all to the array. So for IDX of A is equal to 0 to G, what are we, dsector change, dsector change dot keys or dot count -1 begin. We're going to assign, so we're going to say a percent, that array of IDX of A, and we're not going to go with 0. Remember, we're going to go to 1 and no. We have to go with 0 for our count through the sectors, through the dictionary. But when we assign it to the index, we can't start with 0. We have to start with 1. So this will be IDX of A plus 1. Easy, right? All right, so the array will carry this index plus 1. And so this will be equal to whatever's in the dsector change at IDX of A as type. I think we have, we must have doubles in there. I have to go back and look. Yeah, zsec change is a double. So we have doubles in our dictionary. All right. All right, so now that we have our arrays, our values in our array, and it should be complete. Now we're going to, oh no, this is not pre-recorded. China May Chin May Patil. Hey, got my glasses on, so yeah, no, this is not recorded. Yeah, if you have any questions, just put them in the chat. I'll get to them. Hopefully I can have a decent answer for you. If I can't, then I am not beyond telling you I don't know, and I will figure it out, because that's how I learn, as I keep adding bits and pieces to my repertoire. All right, so we should have our array field now, and now what we want to do is we want to find the quartiles of our array, right? And then we could either plot from within here or plot outside of here? So what do I want to do? What do I want to do? First, let's find the percent function for the array. Array. Sort sum, set max. Percent. There we go. Percentile array. Right there. Parentheses. So double percent rank returns a value. There's a percent rank, percentile, and array. Percent rank, percentile, and array. Double percent rank. Price. So we have the array and we have the size. What is the percent rank is looking for? Let's get some clarification there. Sets percentile value to use. Enter 0.25 for 25%. Returns the value in an array that corresponds. Oh, this is returning the value in the array. Well, that would mean that we would need to find all three quartiles, the first, the midway, and the third quartiles, and then we'd have to make our calculations off of that. So, and I don't mind doing that stuff, but I really don't want to make the programs any more complicated than they have to be, because I feel like I'm always trying to take it easy on the processor, and maybe that's a good thing, and maybe I'm being too lenient. I don't know. So Z %1, and that's going to be I guess it's going to return a double because our array value, our array values are double, so it's going to return a double. So we'll do double Z %2, double Z %3. Okay, so now I presume this is what we're supposed to do. All right, so the array will be a percents, and we need to go, we had 11 variables, right? 11 elements. Okay, and so this will be Z %1, right? Z %1, that's our double. Z %1. Percentile to use. Okay, all right, so we're gonna do, so for this, and we have to use the decimal place, so that'll be 25th, so that'll be less than 25%, right? All right, Z, we can do a quick copy and paste here. And then this will want to be 50%, and then this one will be 75%. Okay. All right, so now we have our 3 different percentiles, so we'll say, now we need to do a case switch. So, because now we need, okay, so now we need to look through the dictionary and compare. We need to look through the dictionary and compare whatever the value is compared to this range here. Okay, so can we send these out? X plot values. We're going to send out Z %1, 2, and 3. z %1, z, oh, z %2, z %3. And we could go ahead and send out whatever the value is in the dictionary. So we'll go ahead and find that. Nah, we'll do that in the next step. Plot values. So what we received here should be a double because it's a number within the array. So double z, we're just going to call it p1, double, you know what? Nah, we'll keep it the same. And 1 double z, because it was local to the other variable. This one will be local to this variable. There will be no interactions. Okay, so switch. Okay, so first let's check. Okay, so first let's check that we do have a value in the dictionary for said symbol. And if we do, then we'll plot. So if d sector change dot contains symbol, then do that. Okay, so now we come down here and we'll say d sector, we're going to switch d sector. Oh man, it's late. 11. Woof. D sector change of symbol as type double. Begin end. Now we'll say that if it's less than case less than z %1 will be plot. I'm going to save this. I'm going to pull this value out. Symbol change. I'm going to pull this value out because we're going to use it again, and that way we won't tax the system too much. Copy, paste that is equal to this. Copy that, paste that. Take that. Symbol change. Begin case. If case is less than %1, we're going to plot 1 will be symbol change, and we'll just call it change, and then we don't need to do a color. We could set plot background color of 1 to red. All right. If it's not less than 1, if it's less than z %2, that puts it in the second quartile. Plot 1 of symbol change is going to be change, and set plot background color. Plot 1, it would be, what did I do? Red. Yeah, I did 2 yellows, and then I did a green. Okay, so we're just going to copy this. And then, so if it's less than 3, then plot, so 1 change, it's going to be yellow again, and then plot 4. Should be everything else. So if it's greater than or equal to, %3. Then plot one simple change. That'll be green. All right. I did a lot of programming without verifying, so this could be bad, but let's see. All right, there's a verify. So IDX of A, desector change. Can convert parameter from int to string. Index. So we could go with keys. Nope, not keys. Not index. We'd have to put the keys in here. Desector change dot keys of IDX of A. And then that will be as type string. Verify. Okay. Xcheck symbol. No xcheck symbol. Did I decide not to do xcheck symbol? That looks like it's very vestigial. Okay, GD item change. Item change, I probably didn't spell it right. GD change. We'll go with GD change, just so it's not so much like the event. All right, verify, no errors. All right, this could be bad. This could be bad, but let's see. So sector change percentile. Let's go up here to add study. It's a little bit slow when, well, it's slow this way too. Typically I'll use a shortcut, / or .iat, which is for insert analysis technique. And that's slow, and this is slow. I don't know why radar screen is so slow. All right, sector change percentile. All right, we got something there. Well, that is red. We got one. And it should be red, but one thing that we can do though is try to force these things to load something. So we'll say value 99 is equal to ticks. Ticks or close or something to make it want to do something. All right. So now as it comes in time for the debugging. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right. So that we know that there's values in here for our sector change. So I tell you what, one of the first things I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna see if when we come to here, before we come down into xplot values, xcheck percent, I'm going to, because even when we start the dictionary, if it contains that dictionary of percent changes, I'm checking the percent. And when I'm checking the percent, I do the percentile check and then I send it to plot. Okay, so one of the questions is, are my percents right? Okay. Another question is, do we even have anything in the dictionary? And then another question is, have we processed properly the arrays? Okay, so somewhere in here we need to do some debugging. So I think I'm going to start here, kind of midway. No, I'll start here. This is our first. So we're going to say if we're just going to choose one of these, because we're applying this same indicator to all these symbols. Okay, so, and again, that's something that I can change in the future, is instead of running this multiple times, I can just run it once send it to another global dictionary, and then all of these can check their respective values and make the change accordingly. But this is the way I'm doing it for right now. Okay, so if symbol is equal to XLE, then, and this should only run one time. This should run on the first first bar. So then once, I think it's condition 1 equals ELC print. ELC print collection will allow you to print what's in the dictionary. So we're gonna just call it DICT, and then we will print the GD D sector change 0, 1, 1, that, and that. Verify that. Come over here. Come down to the end. Okay, so in that dictionary, this is all we have. Well, looks like it's only printing it for XLE, dictionary for XLE. It should print it should have the dictionary for all of the this should be a dictionary. GD sectors, dictionary sectors change should be a dictionary. And that's being applied here. And then we're printing the dictionary. This is printing one value. This is not printing a dictionary. It's not printing a collection. So we are short some information here, but it's only printing it of XLE, which is interesting. So now, again, we see that we're missing some information here, right? So now what we want to do is we want to find out where all those other pieces of information are and why they're not loaded in the global dictionary. So we'll come down here and then we'll grab that verbiage, and then we will, after we create this, we'll go ahead and check what's in that dictionary. So instead of printing D sector change, we're going to print GD sectors. All right, now when I printed GD sectors, you see what printed out. Every sectors change. It looks like it only printed, it's only storing the value for XLE. Oh boy. All right, so now we're going back to sectors change. We're trying to find out why we only have one value in here. Okay. D sector change. New dictionary. We added the symbol. D sector change of the symbol is equal to Z sec change. And that's fine to add that. And then we are taking what's in GD sectors. I feel like it's overwriting what's happening in the next row. Yep. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. So it's starting from the top and it's going row by row by row by row. And so as each one of these rows are running, each row, because it runs its own program essentially, finds the sector change amount, assigns that to its own new dictionary, and then it overwrites what's currently in the global dictionary with that new dictionary. So we need to add to the global. I was trying to be slick by adding it to a dictionary, but I can see that's not going to work. So we need to just add to the dictionary. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's try this. Let's comment this out. Come down here. We're going to grab this. We're going to put the symbol in here. And then that gets not D sector change, but that gets a Z sec change. All right. And then so Z sec change. We don't really need this line. All right. And so now when we come over here, the global dictionary, let's stop this print for now. Global dictionary item change, that's fine. D sector, new dictionary. We don't want a new independent dictionary. So we're going to continue to use GD sectors for all of our calculations. So this will be GD sector. And this will be GD sector. If this doesn't work, then I will be really surprised, but you know, what are you going to do? All right. D sector change. We don't need GD changed. GD changed. If args.key. We don't really need to check for this because that's not the key anymore. D sector change. We're not restoring a dictionary, a new dictionary. If we have a change, we're just going to go ahead and check the percent. And that's this guy. We already changed those. Global dictionary. Check global dictionary. If the sectors contains dictionary change, we don't need this. If D sectors contains dictionary sectors change, which we don't even have that anymore. And we're not reassigning a new dictionary. So Let's try this. See, sec change. No errors there. All right, that comes up. That's back to where it was supposed to be. Uh-oh. Verify that. Okay, error. What you got? All right, unable to cast object of type dictionary to double. Probably here. Symbol change. D sector symbol as type double. GD sectors. Oh, that's probably because we have. I probably need to bring the symbol list back over. This symbol list here, because there's probably still a. Remember when we did this dictionary sectors change? That's probably still in the dictionary, and it has a dictionary in it, and we don't want to use that. So I could clear the dictionary. I'll tell you what. Yeah, I'm just gonna clear the dictionary, and then we'll move forward from there, because I shouldn't be getting those extraneous values in there anyway. So these sectors dot clear. We'll just do that once, and then we'll. All right, now that it's clear, we'll take it back out. All right, now with us taking it out, we don't have any errors here, but, well, let's rerun this one. Oh boy. It's not liking something. Yeah, it's doing a lot of. I have an idea. I know what it's doing. Okay, let's stop this nonsense. It's doing a lot of calculations. But what it's doing is one global dictionary is updating, and then the other one is saying, oh, you updated? Let me update. And then the other one reads that and says, oh, you updated? Let me update. And so they're going back and forth, and it's just, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. So, but it looks like the values are coming out to be the same at the end, but it's taking a long time to get there. That's doing way too much. All right, so sector, dictionary. This is the one that I want to do all the work. But no, this one doesn't have a. This one does this. The one that is actually saving all the data actually does not have a item updated function. So it should just be processing. Let's just turn this one off. It's already off. It's not verified, but it's still running through its paces because I started it, and it's going to try to finish what it started, which is cool. But you see, it's doing what I wanted it to do, right? So it's giving me that breakdown of which ones were the leaders and the top 4th percentile, what was in the inner quartile, that 2nd and 3rd percentile, and then what was at the bottom, the bottom 1 percentile. So it's doing what I wanted to do. We just have some funky business that's causing it to be a little processor intensive for no apparent reason. But let me see if I can hash that out. X check percent. Global D. All right, looks like it's done. No, well, these numbers. Oh, these numbers are probably red, so they are there. Okay, cool. But we got what we're looking for, though, right? This is good. This is good. All right, so if an item is changed in the global dictionary, then we want to go to GD changed. Which is going to check percent, which means it is going to run through the dictionary, assign to the arrays, check the percentiles, and then plot the values. But, uh-oh, sounds like my alarm. All right, I need to finish this thing up. But this is good, this is good, this is good. All right, I don't need to do X% this many times, though. I can tell you that. So global D and GD changed. Global D, begin global dictionary, item change. Value 99 ticks. I'm wondering if I get rid of this global dictionary. But if the item doesn't change, if the item does not change and I get rid of the initial global dictionary plotting, then I will lose the initial values. I will lose the initial values. Oh, I know what's happening. What was that? Now that I don't know what happened. Radar screen sectors. Oh, it just now got to where I am, to where I put these little bugs in here. Okay. What was happening was these studies have, I guess I can't pull it up now, but these studies have X number of bars that it needs to reference back. So what I need to do is I need to only do these calculations if we're on a live bar, because all these bars, I don't know if you're with me when I first kind of started this program tonight, you saw that this had maybe 180 bars back, 180 5-minute bars back. And so for every bar, it was doing a load value. It was checking on every bar. And so every time a new bar updated, it would update here, it would update here, it would update here. And so for every bar that XLK updated over 180 bars, it would update the global dictionary. Every bar XLE updated over 180 bars, it would also update the global dictionary. All these updates, all these updates, all these updates. So what we need to do is we need to just say if last bar on the chart. I know that'll help. I don't know if that's the only thing we need. If last bar on chart, and then also we don't need to do that here, but just there. Okay, so I'm gonna verify. Oh, I'm gonna verify this one first. Boom! You see how quickly that came up? But let's see this one. Boom! Bam! Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. All right, that's what I'm talking about. See? Okay, so now let's just change those values to make them black so that they stand out. So change black. Black, black, black. There we go. Okay, so now I've got pretty much what I need for next week. So again, I will be adding this to my algos so that from now on, as the day goes on, I will only take trades probably of this top 3rd and 4th percentile. And it also has to be among the top probably 2nd, 3rd, 4th percentile of the group of stocks that I'm looking at as well, right? So I want it to be in the right sector, and I want it to be strongest amongst the basket of stocks that I'm looking at. All right, cool. Sectors, perfect. All right, again, I didn't think I was going to do this much more, but if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them now or forever hold your peace. And then I'm going to get out of here and we'll put something together later. I love it when a plan comes together. What did I do? I got rid of GD sectors. Global dictionary. Got rid of this one. All right. Global D. Nope. Okay. All right, folks. Well, if there's no questions, I'm out of here. So, as always, I've been your host. Appreciate you for tuning in. As always, code confident, trade calm. I'm Eric. I'm out. Peace.